Welcome to Very Honored Frater BT's Esoterinerd podcast. Today is a brief episode, brief announcement, brief call for assistance for a friend of a friend. And fortunately, rather than saying it's for a friend of a friend, I'm going to introduce you to my friend. And some of you might go, oh, his friend is actually my friend. I remember him from back in the day. And then he'll be saying it's about his friend. So it's one level closer to you than you realized just now. If you're in front of a computer, feel free to type in the URL gofundme.com/T as in Tom, T as in Tom, P as in Paul, B as in brother, 5, R-A-K. And so, without further ado, let's get to the interview, shall we?
Greetings, brother. Welcome to the Esoterinerd podcast.
Greetings. It's great to be here with you. Thanks, Edward.
Hey, now, you and I have known each other for about 11 years.
It's been a long time.
I remember you were an acupuncturist who came to the rescue when my wife's Uncle Guy, the famous clown from Tokyo, had some issues after his long flight.
Yeah, that was a good time. I absolutely love what I do, and using Chinese medicine to help my friends and the people I love is, one of my sources of joy.
So we're looking forward to, we're going to have you on hopefully a little bit later this week for a longer interview. This is my go-to guy for Taoist Alchemy and Chinese medicine and a lot of other things, and he's an acupuncturist by trade, and we'll get into all that stuff. But the reason why I wanted to put this episode out real quick, this isn't a proper Esoterinerd episode, just a little blurb. Can you tell us a little bit about your friend and the situation he's in and how we, the listener, can help?
Absolutely. So we are advocating for my best friend of 30 years. His name is Shawn Davis. Shawn is an extraordinary guy, very smart, very good-hearted, and has had some big challenges in his life. He was hit by a drunk driver when we were in our early 20s, and it left him quadriplegic. He had earned a full scholarship to Dartmouth that kind of derailed, and it put Shawn's life on a very different course. What I love about Shawn is that he is one of the most positive, grateful, happy, service-minded people you could hope to meet, which I think is extraordinary given the number of challenges in his life. And in the 16 years since his accident, we've been very fortunate that he's been very, very healthy. A couple weeks ago, Shawn got a cold that turned into pneumonia, and that pneumonia is very serious for someone who is paralyzed, and it partially collapsed his left lung. And he right now is in an ICU at a remote but wonderful small hospital in Apple Valley. His doctors there made it very clear to us that his best chance at survival is getting him to a major medical center like Cedars-Sinai or UCLA. So we began a campaign to get Cedars-Sinai to take his case. The hospital reached out to them and said, would you please take him? And it looked like our efforts really worked. Cedars told us they had a bed reserved for him, that they were looking forward to handling his care, that they were aware of how many people were advocating for him, including actually some of their own doctors. One of them wrote a beautiful letter to them. And at the very last minute, when the ambulance was being reserved to transfer him, they said, we changed our mind. You're going to have to keep him in Apple Valley. And that was just devastating for us. So his physician in Apple Valley wrote a letter, which I have published, saying, I still am of the opinion that Shawn's best chance of survival is getting him to a major medical center with a really good critical care team. And I have reached out to Cedars again, and they still, it's funny, it seems to be like, no, we've dug in our heels. UCLA is starting to show interest in this case. And what we're really trying to do at this point is three things. We're trying to build Shawn a following of people who know how extraordinary he is, who are willing to help advocate for him, and who will just send him love and light for healing. I believe that has tremendous power, so the more people who do that, the better. And then second, we want to leverage his following to get a major hospital to say, absolutely, we'll take his care on. He's paralyzed, he's been through enough, and we're going to help. And then lastly, we're trying to get people to give donations to his GoFundMe campaign. At this point, I think we've raised $8,000, and our goal is to get to 30. The initial responses from people have been so heartwarming. I am just amazed at the kindness of strangers, of people who don't know Shawn, but have rallied to protect him and help him. And we just need to get this momentum up and running. So we have a Twitter account for him. His handle is at Save Shawn, SHAWND. And if people can log on and retweet some
does D or B?
D like dog. So,
okay, so Save Shawn
Save,
D.
Yeah.
Okay.
If people could basically start to follow him, follow that link to his Facebook page where his GoFundMe account and pictures of him and details of his case are being posted, that would be a huge help. And then if people would also tweet Cedars at Cedars Sinai and just say, please stop refusing Shawn's care and, please save our friend and things like that, so that Cedars really sees that, there are thousands of people vying for his well-being. And that's that in a nutshell is what's going on.
And then isn't there a website? Oh, there's the GoFundMe. I remember you posted a website. I'm going to link to that website on the description of this episode.
And then I set up a community page for him called Saving Shawn.
Okay.
And that is the one that
right, the community page, Saving Shawn. Okay, it's facebook.com/Saving Shawn. So if you just type in the URL, facebook.com/SAVINGSHAWN, then you can join that Facebook group and keep in touch with how things are progressing. And hopefully this announcement will help bring everybody in. Yeah, so and I know that there's a few people that listen to this podcast that might remember you. You and I were studying the Tree of Life for a little bit. I was curious before I let you go. Was there anything from those days when we were going over the Tree of Life and the tarot and such that later on, when you were studying something in Chinese, maybe esoterica or medicine, that made a light bulb go off and go, oh, here's an overlap? I'm always interested in those, and I was just wondering if you...
Absolutely. I think there was a lot of overlap when you looked at the Tree of Life as a tool for alchemical transformation, for mental, emotional, spiritual growth and balance, that the Chinese correlated energy centers and organs with particular psychological states and states of nature and qualities of life, and that they both kind of approached it from this system of kind of exploring what different feelings and aspects of consciousness coming into balance and cooperation with them can do for being more present, being more healthy, being more enlivened, kind of upping your wattage of energy available to you.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to, and that's probably the most brief description.
Yeah, we'll go a bit deeper into that. I just wanted to give people some idea that you've got the background in Chinese medicine and Taoist alchemy, as well as an understanding kind of the tradition that dates back to the Victorian England and all that, where the tarot correspondences and all that are usually traced back to. So people will be able to look forward to some of that, and it's always good when there's crossover there. And but in particular, I'm looking forward to hearing about the work you've been doing in acupuncture, the work you've been doing with Chinese medicine and Taoist alchemy. And thank you for being on the Esoterinerd podcast today, and hopefully this will help out your friend.
Thank you so much, Edward. Really appreciate it, and it is a pleasure to be on the podcast. I hope that I can reciprocate the generosity and continuing to help you and also all the people who are listening.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Awesome, buddy.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Bye. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all for tuning in. And do please check out that Facebook group. It doesn't cost anything to click like on the community page, and then you can kind of keep up on what's going on. And if you want to send a tweet out, that'll help as well. And of course, if you have extra, there's the GoFundMe page. Thank you all for tuning in. And we'll talk to you next time. LVX. Namaste.